Hey guys, this is Breach, and we are back with Let's Play Pokemon Blue, all 151, no trades, no cheats. Right now, I've got Magikarp, named after my good buddy Drew, at the front of the party because, the best way to level up a Pokemon that's really weak and doesn't have attacks is to put it at the front of the party, so that you can switch it out for another Pokemon to actually take out the enemy. Any Pokemon that shows up in battle gets experience, whether they do damage or not. If they show up on your screen, they're going to get experience unless they get knocked out. So, you put out your Magikarp, switch it out for, in this case a Pikachu, who will one-shot the enemy Spearow, and they both get experience. So, something that can't attack and get its own experience, that's one of the three ways you're going to have to do that. Later on, after you get 50 types of Pokemon, you can get what's called an Experience All item, which, while it's in your inventory, will split up the experience amongst every Pokemon in your party. Or you can drop it off at the daycare. So, those are really the two ways that you can go about leveling up a Pokemon that can't level up on its own. Now, we are going to get bored with leveling up Magikarp, because, he can't do anything, and it's a waste of time, really. Especially when we already have a water Pokemon that's doing a pretty kick-butt job for us. This Voltorb, he's going to use Screech, which greatly lowers your defense. However, Sonic Boom is going to do a static 20 damage on you. So don't get too worried or freaked out if you've taken 2 or 3 Screeches and then he's about to use an attack. As long as you have above 20 HP, he can't one-shot you. Just a fun fact there. This Juggler also has a Magnemite, which we're going to switch in Wartortle for because it doesn't know any electric-type moves at this level. Later games, Magnemite became a Steel type, but in this one it's just electric, because Steel had not been introduced into the game yet. Go figure. Now, I come in this direction because I forget where HM05 is. You need HM05 in order to progress. Well, you don't need it. It's just really helpful to be able to progress through the game. Like in Dragon Quest, there are caves that are dark, and you can navigate them without lighting them up. But this one's a lot bigger than, just the swamp cave that was in Dragon Quest. So, we're going to want to be able to see where we're going. Now, this Magnemite's going to fall pretty easily. And I left in this little bit of mix-up, because we do catch a Pokemon on our new Pokemon on our way back. So, it's always worth showing off. Plus, it's what's in this direction, and why we can't just progress the game without getting HM05. Now, in this building, there is one of Professor Oak's aides, who, if you've caught 30 types of Pokemon, will offer you an item finder, which is really cool. It's kind of like a dowsing rod or something like that. Lets you know when there's an item hidden in the area. Like the potion and the antidote we found in Viridian Woods, or Viridian Forest. There are items hidden throughout the game, just randomly laying on rocks, spots on the ground that you can find. And some of them are really good. Ethers, elixirs, stuff like that. And here we have a sleeping Pokemon in the way. I'm sure you guys all know what Pokemon that is. I'm going to leave it out until we encounter it and can wake it up, because we'll catch it then. He's kind of a pain in the backside for catching, but it is what it is. Now, these trainers over here, I do want to leave so that we can pull off the glitch later to get other Pokemon into the game. Like we got Mew in, to be able to execute that trainer fly glitch, you have to have a trainer walk to you in order to not soft lock your game. So we want to leave a lot of trainers just kind of open, available to use that with later on. We're not going to use them all, but the more we have, the better. Now, this Drowsy here, if you don't want to level up an Abra, or you don't want to level up your Mew high enough to learn Psychic-type moves, or use HMs or anything, Straussy is a good way to get an early psychic type that can do psychic moves. He'll know confusion he'll learn confusion, and that can be really helpful for you, because psychic is super OP in this game. But we're not going to use him too much. He takes a long time to level up, and by the time you do, you might as well have just used an Abra and gotten Psybeam from Kadabra to be a little more useful. Now at this point, we're just trying to work our way back, because I remember where you have to go to get HM05. Crazy concept how whenever you play a game as a kid, no matter how many times or how much you play it, you sometimes forget one little thing. And that's what happened here. In one of the games I play kind of off screen and just toy around with different challenges and stuff, I was playing Final Fantasy 1 again, doing a thief only challenge lately. And I went through the waterfall before even going through like Gurgu Volcano, so I could get the defender, use that to take as few hits against bosses as I could. And sure enough, I forgot to talk to the robot in there to get the cube for once you get into the tower. So I get all the way to that point of the game, you know, super high level, get up to the tower, and I'm like, why can't I go in? Oh, crud, I have to go back there. So it doesn't matter how many times you've beaten something, how good you are at it. Every once in a while, you'll forget something. Now, Diglett Cave here is where you want to go through. Remember, 95% chance encounter a Diglett, 95% chance for a Dugtrio, and you know they're both weak to water, so Wartortle can do some pretty good damage. If we run into a Dugtrio, I might get a little scared, because he's going to be level 29 to 31, which is still going to do a lot of damage to Wartortle, and I don't think Wartortle will be able to one-shot him, even with the weakness and same-type attack bonus. But I can't remember. I don't think we run into any issues. We are still fighting all the Digletts to try and level up Magikarp, because, like I said, this was before I gave up on him and decided to save him for the Rare Candy montage at the end of the game. That's how I decided I'm going to do all the evolutions for things. I could go through and level up everything to evolve it naturally, but it's going to be really long, really boring. I don't want to do that. You don't want to watch that. And if I'm already glitching stuff in and exhibiting glitches, I might as well use the Rare Candy glitch and do a montage of evolutions for, you know, the 151 that we'll need. You can catch 134, 138 just naturally on your own. So we don't have too terribly much that we have to glitch in, but we're still going to use some glitches. And we get outside on the other side of Viridian, or not Viridian, we're by Viridian Forest, but we get outside of Diglett's Cave, and we're up by Viridian Forest and Viridian City. Now you go in here and talk to this guy, and he doesn't offer too terribly much. This one, however, wants to trade you an Abra for a Mr. Mime. We haven't leveled up our Abra, because we're going to trade him for Mr. Mime and go catch another one. Now, in hindsight, probably could have kept the Abra and made the trade later in the game and used this Abra to teleport for a little bit of fast travel action, but it's not too terribly big of a deal. We can get around fairly well just with Cut or Bicycle and everything like that. So I'm not too terribly worried about travel getting around, and I want to go ahead and knock this out so we don't have to come back to this area later in the game. As with Farfetch'd earlier, we can't rename this Mr. Mime, so I was going to name it Gurg or Achilles after my buddy Greg, because he's a clown. But it can't, sadly. And this was before breeding, so you can't get a Mr. Mime that you can name. They're always going to be named Marcel or whatever this one's name is. And this is the Professor Oak's aid that gives you HM05 if you've caught 10 types of Pokemon. Which, yes, we have. We've caught 30. We could go back and get that item finder. I don't really want to, because it's not really what I'm trying to show off in this. But there are some good items hidden over here as well, if you remember seeing them from the other side of the bush that we couldn't get. A Moonstone. I think that's 3 that we have now. And you can cut this bush. We're still using Paris. Later on I've switched to having, whatchamacallit, Farfetch'd as my HM slave. And here we hop on the bike, because I forget where we're at. We're outside of Viridian Forest, just north of Viridian City. There's our gentleman for the missing no glitch, and there is a Pokemon Center. I think that's going to be all for this episode. We'll save the rock tunnel for next episode. This has been Breach. Thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed, please subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/element_breach. And hope you had a great day. Thanks.